Almost every AI project we're handed is really a data project wearing a costume, and I have seen a lot of them. I see them online all the time. I see them as they come through my inbox. The reality of the matter is that data needs to be treated as a first-class citizen when it comes to building out anything that's leveraging AI. If you want to be able to use an LLM to be able to provide extra insight, efficiency gains, whatever you want to be able to get out of this AI proof of concept, you need to be able to provide accurate data that has been organized effectively to really see those gains realized. This is why so many AI proof of concepts end up failing still in proof of concept phase. The data itself has been treated as a second-class citizen with the excitement and the interest going into the LLM. But of course, if you feed that LLM with garbage, you're also going to get garbage out. If you don't think about the data that you want to put in, you won't get the results that you require. And not only that, but also just the cost of operation. Large language models are token-based. They take time, they take money to be able to provide that information and the output. So what you also want to be able to do is reduce the amount of token expenditure. One of the better ways of doing that is really tuning up the data that you want to put into the platform itself to be able to leverage that data more effectively and efficiently by the LLM so it can find what it needs more quickly, efficiently, all those types of gains. It doesn't mean that you can't build these proof of concepts quickly. But what you need to think about is as these projects end up getting into production, as they leave the proof of concept phase, end up being something that is more widely used either internally or externally by customers and clients, what does that look like from a cost perspective? Because token-based expenditure, especially when you've got a client-facing product, is something that's bursty. You can't accurately measure what your expenditure is going to be because you don't know what the uptake of that feature is going to be. But what you can do is drive down the cost on the inbound side to ensure that on the outbound side, you can make this as cost effective as possible. You can also tweak the models. You can do an awful lot of stuff, but you have to think about the data first. What does getting the data right actually mean, though? Now, hear me out, because there's different thoughts and opinions. At a smaller scale, a semantic layer that sits on top of your database, if you're not a Google or some like multinational conglomerate, a semantic layer that sits across your database that provides that information to your organization so that everything is measured the same way is a great way of being able to offer up that type of information, same to third-party applications or external stuff. These semantic layers provide governance and one model that means that everything is built upon the same data. Data going into LLMs, data going into analysis, data going into dashboards and other applications. So getting the data right definitely depends on what you're trying to achieve, how you plan to achieve it, and also what that actually means to you as an organization. So before you go hell for leather on the next AI project, take a step back and think about the data and the things that you're going to put into it on the inbound side and what you expect as a result on the outbound side. Because garbage in, garbage out, it still prevails in the world of LLMs. And, garbage in, expensive cost out is definitely a real thing. So take a step back as an organization, make sure that your requirements are well defined and something that you can actually measure against. Because if you can measure against it, you can experiment with different models, you can experiment with different ways of being able to query that data using the LLM to be able to drive down those costs and really optimize what AI means for your business. Get the layer right and the AI on top stops being a project and starts being a feature you add in an afternoon. If you want to be able to find out more, if you go to concept2cloud.com, you will find our AI readiness audit. And I suggest that you go through, take that, get the score out the far end, and just understand what it means to be AI ready. Because for a lot of organizations, it's still to be desired. Once you've gone through that, if you need more help and support, you know where to find us. Thanks for watching.